Good evening. Welcome to the Museum of Science. I'm James Wetzel, the co-producer of adult programs, and I am very excited to welcome you all to tonight's program, the Greenhouse Playlab, a climate change theater incubator. We are thrilled to be collaborating with Flat Earth Theater on tonight's program. When we first heard about the Greenhouse Playlab about a year ago at this point, and we met with the Flat Earth team, we knew that this project and the 4 new pieces that were going to be created through it were important and timely artistic endeavors, and we leapt at the opportunity to be a part of tonight's premiere readings. A little later, we'll hear a little bit about the developmental process that's led us to tonight's readings, the culmination of a year-long creative process for the playwrights, directors, and actors involved. We feel extremely privileged to be a part of sharing these new works for audiences for the first time and to be supporting Boston artists and their incredible work. We have a packed program, so we're just going to dive right in. At the heart of tonight's program are these premiere readings, of course, and following those will be a conversation between our 4 playwrights and 2 very special guests, Robin Abrams and Mark Serez, both of whom we are so grateful to have with us tonight. And to start us off, Mark is going to give us a framework of where we stand today with climate change and share some of his experiences in the field. So please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Mark Serez.
I'm going to tell you a little story today about climate and climate change. And it's a story about the Arctic, what's happened to the Arctic, and what the Arctic is telling us for the rest of the world. It's largely a personal journey, a journey through 35 years as a climate scientist, and myself as a climate scientist, and one who, until fairly recently, I would say turn of the century, was actually a skeptic on the issue of climate change because I didn't see the evidence. But then how in the weight of the overwhelming evidence, I turned and saw climate change for what it really is. And this story really for me starts back in 1982. I was a young man, just graduated from college with a bachelor's degree in geography, and had a chance to travel to the Arctic. And at the time, when I stepped out of that airplane the first time, way up north on Ellesmere Island, it was this pristine whiteness, an unchanged Arctic. It was an Arctic that explorers of the 19th century like Nansen and Amundsen or Scott, right, would have recognized. And I was enthralled by it, and I realized that this is what I wanted to study for the rest of my life. And I headed up there in 1982 basically as a cub scientist, as my advisor called it, right? Full of beans, but I knew absolutely nothing. I knew probably just enough science to be irritating to my friends. And what we were looking at was testing this idea of climate cooling. There was actually talk about climate cooling back then, in part overplayed by the media, but there was serious talk that we might be actually entering a climate cooling phase, and that's what I was looking at. And I was studying these 2 little ice caps you see on the left here to see how they were influencing the local climate. So there I am on the right, a lot younger and a lot better looking. And this is actually a fabricated cover I found on the web, but it's still, I'm not sure who put this together, but I think part of the issue was some of the so-called skeptics out there, right, will say, well, you climate scientists, you once actually said the climate was going to cool, so I'm not sure who put this together, but it was rather clever. But there was actually some real work out there, real serious work out there, looking at the prospects of a cooling climate, even though we knew, even back then, what our climate models were telling us, that we should warm up and that the Arctic ought to be leading the way. And so what was going on? Well, let's go through the years now, like 1991, 1992. Talking to some of the other scientists that I've worked with through the years, like Jim Overland at the top, who's been with NOAA for years. What was he saying in the early 90s? Hey, we didn't even see or think much about climate changes. Marika Holland, a climate modeler who I've worked with for many, many years, For her, it just seemed climate change seemed like something just so far away, right? We were thinking about it maybe, but whoa, would we ever really see something like this? And I was a skeptic. This was back in the spring of 1992 when I was up in the Arctic for some other work. And Pinatubo, Mount Pinatubo, remember that big volcano? Some of you may remember, blew its stack in 1991. Threw all this junk up in the atmosphere. They call them sulfate aerosols. And it actually cooled the climate for a while. And boy, did it cool the climate in the Arctic where I was at. It was basically a year without a summer. The snow never melted off the sea ice, and we had these tremendous storms like this, where just these blizzard after blizzard coming through. And I was even writing peer-reviewed literature, as we call it, right? Scientific papers talking about this issue that we're not seeing this warming that was projected to occur. So we thought it might be coming, but I certainly didn't see it happening. But there were some really rude awakenings that emerged. And one of the things happened was that as we moved through the years, we started to see the Arctic change. We started to see the ocean warming. We started to see the Arctic sea ice cover, that floating sea ice cover in the Arctic, start to shrink. We started to see things like the permafrost start to thaw, right? And then along comes 2007, and there was this tremendous warm summer, and we lost most of the ice cover that year. This is looking at just the difference between 1984 and September of 2012. What's happened to the ice cover during that time? We've lost almost half of it during that time. What else has happened? Thawing of permafrost. Much of the Arctic land cover is underlain by frozen soils, which we call permafrost. That permafrost is warming and thawing, and this is what happens when that permafrost warms and thaws. Tremendous changes in the landscape as the ice melts underneath and the landscape collapses. Buckling of roads and things like this. Coastal erosion. This is a big issue on the coast of Alaska for one area because what's happening is that it used to be in summer a storm would come through, but there would be sea ice, and the sea ice would limit how big the waves would get. Now, at the end of summer, you stand at Point Barrow, Alaska, the northernmost point in the United States, and look north, and this open ocean as far as the eye can see. And what happens now is the waves now are much, much bigger than they used to be because there's no sea ice there to protect it and to limit those waves. And this is what we see. We see areas along the Arctic coast retreating at 15, 30 feet per year in some areas. It's remarkable. Melting Greenland ice sheet. This is just a shot from one of my colleagues of a big stream of meltwater coming from the Greenland ice sheet. The Greenland ice sheet is starting to melt down. The Greenland ice sheet is beginning to lose mass, contributing to sea level rise. And here's what really brought it home to me. Those two little ice caps I talked about, they're gone. They're basically dead. All they are a couple of patches of ice. This was some work we did a while ago that just shows what's happened through the years, that blue outline of these two little ice caps, what was measured back in 1959 when aerial photographs were taken. The red line, what we measured in 2001, and then what we've seen in the last few years. And the more recent data from this last summer, all that's left is a couple of patches of ice. An ice cap is supposed to be something that is permanent. And to think that over the course of just a short career in climate science, those ice caps have died. They'll be gone before I do. This is what really brought climate change home for me. And one of these things that turned me right around and said, climate change is here. Climate change is now, and it's getting bigger. But what's the Arctic telling us? We always knew that when the climate change emerged, we'd see it most pronounced in the Arctic. That's exactly what we have seen, right? What does this mean for the rest of the world? For number one, it's a warning sign. It says we better get our act together, right? Is it too late? No, it is not too late. It is not too late. But we have to start to act now. I think all of us can make a contribution, even those little things like turning off the lights and things like that. It's a drop in the bucket, but it starts to change how we think as a society. And that's how we're going to beat this sort of thing. So the moral, the really take-home story here is that climate change is real. It's something that I have observed as a climate scientist, and I've seen the Arctic change from something very pristine and unchanged since the 19th century to something new. But it's time to act, and I think in working all together, we can beat this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for being here with us tonight. We are going to segue now into the readings. Before we do that, copies of Mark's book, Brave New Arctic, will be for sale during the intermission, so make sure you pick up a copy. He'll be signing copies of those books as well on stage following the program. Now I'm going to invite our first cast for the Aftermath of Chaos to please come up and take their places. And while they do that, please join me in welcoming to the stage the playwright of the piece and founding member of Flat Earth Theater, Kevin Mullins, and he's going to share a few words from the company. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And thank you to the Museum of Science for this incredible partnership. Nearly a year ago, when we first conceived of a theatrical event to address climate change, Flat Earth Theater was driven by two convictions. First, that the crisis of accelerating climate change represents a core challenge and responsibility of humanity, and second, that art is a great provocateur of public dialogue and a spur to action. The result was the Greenhouse Playlabs. In partnership with the Museum of Science, Flat Earth Theater commissioned 4 new plays by 4 Boston playwrights to address this important issue. Over the course of our theatrical season, the 4 playwrights have worked with dramaturgs and directors and scientists to develop gripping stories that bring home the personal costs and global reverberations of our current ecological crisis in settings as varied as Antarctica, the American Southwest, the islands off the coast of Africa, and the Sevabal Global Seed Bank. Tonight's event is the start of a dialogue. Over the next month, the plays you'll be hearing, pieces of tonight, will be read in their entirety for Sunday evenings in May and June at the Democracy Center in Harvard Square. We invite you to join us and to continue this vital conversation. We hope you enjoy the readings tonight and stay for the conversation to follow. Thank you.
The Aftermath of Chaos by Kevin Mullins, directed by Elizabeth Singer Goldman. Phoenix, Arizona, 2031. In the drought-ravaged Southwest, 2 climate activists, husband and wife Felix Lopez and Marcy Thomas, are executed for a robbery and murder they say they did not commit. Their case becomes a cause célèbre around the world. 18 years later, their daughter Teresa begins a journey into their parents' case that will change her perceptions of her past and the options for her present, while the future of her family hangs in the balance. Prologue. An interrogation room somewhere on the border of Arizona and Utah. Felix Lopez sits handcuffed to a chair, a table in front of him. Annabelle Wong enters, dressed in the uniform of a water and power employee. She sets a tablet on the table.
Good evening, Mr. Lopez. How are you?
Where are my wife and children?
My name is Annabelle Wong. I am a contractor with WP International. I will be conducting this interview.
What have you done with Marcy and my children?
Your wife is in processing. She will be interrogated after you. Your children are in a holding cell down the hall.
I'd like to see them, please.
Arizona Department of Social Services has been called. Provided their citizenship can be verified, they'll be given a bed for the night. We should get started.
We're all American citizens.
I know.
She turns on a recorder on her tablet.
July 10th, 2031, 8:17 p.m. This is Annabelle Wong interrogating Felix Lopez.
I would like to see my wife and children.
Suspect was apprehended when he and his family were trying to illegally cross into Utah with forged passports.
I'm not speaking again until I see them.
Here are the 2 fake driver's licenses in the names of Alex and Julie Diaz. They were found on your persons upon arrest. Where did you obtain them? Mr. Lopez.
She turns off the recorder.
You really don't want to do this.
Annabelle gets up from the table and heads to the door.
I am a citizen of the United States of America. I was born in Dallas, Texas.
On April 2nd, 1998. Your wife, Marcy Thomas, was born April 4th, 1998, 2 days apart.
She's white. You don't doubt about her citizenship.
No, we don't.
Let her take the children.
This isn't about immigration. Do you think someone like me gets called for something like that?
I don't know who you are.
Yes, you do. You know exactly who I am. You knew who I was before I even opened my mouth. The look in your eyes gave it away. Let's continue, shall we?
Annabelle sits at the table.
Tell me about the Climate Justice Network. Before your first child was born, you were a member of them with your wife. You were living in Miami then. You moved to Arizona in the summer of 25 to work for the Water Rights Action Network. There was a secret meeting held on December 1st, 2030 in the apartment of Pamela Gershonovitz. This is where the PCA was formed. Were you at this meeting?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're denying being at this meeting.
I was involved with the CJN when I was a student at Stanford.
That's where you met your wife?
Yes, I did some work for the WRA, but that was at least 2 years ago.
Why did you stop? Do you have family in Mexico still?
No, not anymore.
They're all here now.
After 22, they all came over.
So some of them here are illegally.
I thought you said this wasn't about immigration.
Tell me about the robbery on July 2nd.
Robbery.
The Dunbar robbery on Washington and North 11th. Did you need funds? You don't understand.
Understand what?
If you don't start talking to me, you're never going to see your family again. So let's start over.
Annabelle turns the recorder back on.
Tell me about your whereabouts on the morning of July 2nd.
A greenhouse conservatory on the upper level of an apartment complex. A smog-filled day in November. The garden is large and well kept. Tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuces, radishes. The sound of a busy cityscape can be heard beyond the glass. Pamela Gershonovitz is moving a tomato plant toward what little sun she can get. Teresa Lopez Thomas is sitting in the doorway, an air filter mask around her face.
The tomato plant is very important. It's our bumper crop. I'm sure you saw the people on your way up. This greenhouse feeds most of the neighborhood. Well, this and a few others we have scattered about. Come inside, for goodness sake, and take off that filter mask. The air in the building is fine. I'll just be another minute.
The whole place looks nice.
Not what you expected, huh? Well, you should have seen the place 10 years ago. It was a mess.
How long have you been here?
Almost since the beginning. We knew people on the Kansas Relocation Board. It's how we finagled this apartment complex. Otherwise, it would have been a bunch of luxury condos.
She moves plants against the glass.
Can I get you anything? Coffee?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me.
Pamela finishes moving the plants.
How could I not? Look at you. Come here.
They hug, a kiss on the cheek.
I'm sorry. I should have kept more in touch.
You have your life to live. I know how you're doing. I keep in touch through some old comrades. Sit, sit. Is this your first time in Wichita?
Yes.
Well, it's just like New York. In fact, half of New York got relocated here after Betsy, so you probably know a lot of people here. You were in New York.
I was there with Climate Aid. I was more in Brooklyn, though.
How was New York at the end? I thought so. I was in Miami after Alice. It's a war zone. I'm glad you're okay, though. Let me get you some coffee.
Before Teresa can protest, she's up and grabs a French press and 2 cups and pours her some coffee.
It's cold, but it'll be strong. Here. I hope you don't mind. I have to make sure some things get done before noon. I'd like to say that Kansas is different from the rest of the Midwest, but I'd be lying. There's still that sense of the people who were here before and those who came after, even though we outnumber the locals 10 to 1.
It's been like that all over.
Oh, it's awful. But listen to me talk and talk. Let's not talk shop. You must be excited about your brother.
I am.
Have you met Otto?
No.
He's a good kid. Drives one of those trash compactors. It's a union job. Politically, he's underdeveloped, but he has a good heart. If you ask me, they are too young to be getting married, but nobody asked me. When is the wedding?
On Saturday. Wait, he didn't invite you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, it's not.
Teresa.
That's disgraceful.
Teresa, it's...
I can't believe him. You were like family back then.
I'm a memory of the worst time in your lives. Really, it's okay. How is he?
He's fine. I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind.
I haven't seen your brother since the winter your parents died. He doesn't have to invite me to his wedding. It's been 15 years. Now, why don't you help me move these cucumbers over to the window, okay?
Pamela tosses her a pair of gloves, and they move plants over to the window.
It's ironic, isn't it? The sun is so important. We spend so much time in the Southwest. I hated the sun, always burning down on you. Now, here in Kansas, it's the only thing I need. What a cruel joke. Your parents would be so proud of you, you know that?
I'm not doing anything special.
That's not true. The work you're doing with Climate Aid and your brother at the UN.
I don't think the UN...
I know. The UN is an Altakaka, but the climate debt resolution could be something if the right people back it. It's the kind of thing your parents would have supported. It's the kind of thing your father would have supported. Your mother...
I actually wanted to talk to you about my parents. I'm trying to track down some of their things. I was told that you might have held on to them.
I wasn't in Arizona at the end. I was in D.C. with the lawyers trying to get another stay.
Do you know what happened to their things?
Most of the books were from the prison library. I think your Aunt Sheila took most of the clothes and personal belongings.
Even for my father?
Most of his family was undocumented. I know we got some things to your Grandma Rosa in San Francisco, but after 42, we lost touch.
I was actually trying to track down some of their letters.
Letters?
Yes, I wanted to collect them in an anthology, maybe digitize them. I have all the letters that they wrote to me and Henry, and their lawyer has a few.
I wish I had some letters, but I don't.
I was told that you and my father corresponded a lot.
Yes, we were very close, even before.
You never kept them?
After the executions, I threw myself back into climate work. I barely got out of Miami as it was. I lost a lot of my personal effects, the letters among them. If you want, I can certainly put you in touch with other members of the Defense Committee.
I'd appreciate that.
Pamela goes over to an address book and copies out the address.
I'm old. I write things down still.
And you should come on Saturday. I'm inviting you.
You can't.
Yes, I can. You don't have to bring anything, just yourself and a date.
Oh, I haven't had a date in some time.
Well, bring one.
Pamela hands her some paper with names and addresses.
Thank you.
Pamela continues to water the plants.
Whatever happened to Newton Moore?
Who knows? He's probably living in some New England commune.
I would love to talk to him. Could you help me track him down?
Pamela moves a rose bush to the window.
Even if I knew where he was, which I don't, Newton Moore is still wanted by the FBI. It'd be a crime for you to go talk to him.
Newton was involved in the bombings in 30 and 31?
He was?
Were my parents?
Teresa.
I want to know.
The only thing you need to know is that your parents were fighting for a better world, and because of that, they were targeted. They were targeted because of their politics, because your father was Mexican-American and your mother was white, because they refused to play by the government's rules.
Ms. G, I'm not 9 years old anymore. I have a right to know. Please.
All right. All right, yes. Yes, they were. We all were. Are you all right?
Of course.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It doesn't change.
I know. The lawyers always said that they were pacifists.
They were trying to keep them from being executed. Blowing up empty buildings or a pipeline is different from robbing an armored car, Teresa. It's two different crimes.
Hot white lights begin to fill the stage.
I have no private knowledge. Do you want to ask anything else?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
The outskirts of the slums in Phoenix 2030, a water pump with an ATM device attached. The WP logo is on the pump. Felix sits on the ground with a laptop, typing furiously, wires feeding into the ATM. They're trying to hack it. Marcy stands lookout.
I should go.
Are you sure?
Almost.
Felix is typing.
I'll come back with an invitation. With Henry.
They hug.
It's so good to see you.
You too. I'll see you soon.
Felix is still typing.
Almost.
Teresa exits. Beat. Pamela watches her go out. The light fills the stage completely, and Pamela joins the scene.
Anyone coming?
Not yet.
Felix types and types. The lock on the ATM gives way, and Pamela removes it.
Got it.
Pamela tosses the ATM to the ground. She takes a Nalgene and starts to fill it with water. Marcy comes over.
That's not for us.
It's 103 degrees outside.
The more water we take, less will be available.
One bottle won't hurt.
That's not the point.
Okay, it's too late.
Pamela takes a sip. She passes it to Felix, who also drinks. Felix passes it to Marcy, who refuses.
The water's already been pumped. Drinking it won't make you a bad person.
Marcy takes a sip.
This is bullshit.
Tasted fine to me.
No, this messing with the pumps, it's too little. I mean, how many families are we really helping?
5. Maybe 10.
I didn't even check. What's the going rate per liter?
$3.50.
We need to be doing more.
What is more? What is more?
Something to talk about.
Newton is going to be in town next week. We should talk to him.
No.
Why not?
Because Newton's a fucking manarchist.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't matter.
Please, you always complained about him.
Well, he's committed.
We're all committed.
Something to think about then, but for now, we should go.
They pack up and move on. End of excerpt. The Vault by Nina Louise Morrison, directed by Josh Glenn Caden. The Vault is a gothic post-apocalyptic psychological thriller. In the near future, in the northernmost town in the world, a lost tourist and a local baker find themselves inside a cave in a mountain of ice in the middle of the night, the Global Seed Vault. These two strangers play a game of cat and mouse as we realize that the world outside is at war, ravaged by climate change. In this excerpt, Pamela has just arrived at the Global Seed Vault, out of breath, scared, and confused. Suddenly, Bryn strides in. She speaks Norwegian and seems strangely comfortable. They are both deeply suspicious of the other.
I'm sorry, do you live here?
No.
No?
How could you live? Where would you go to the toilet?
I just thought, I didn't expect anyone inside in the middle of the night.
It's night for half the year here.
Yes, but it's night.
Yeah.
So what do you do in the middle of the night? Science?
Me?
Yes.
No, I am not a scientist.
You're not?
No, I am a baker. Left, Rosenball or raisin buns. I am a very popular raisin bun.
I'm missing something.
Lost?
Yes. Very. In more ways than one, apparently.
I have a bakery, the bakery. I am here for reading books. You know Per Pedersen, it's my time for
You
my
come here
reading.
to read just for fun? What about polar bears?
It is unlikely.
Not as unlikely that you come out in the snow, in the dark, in the middle of a mountain made of ice, in the middle of the night to a cave to read.
Do you have children?
I'm sorry?
Do you have babies, children?
No, as a matter of fact, I don't.
I have 4.
4? You've got to be joking. How is that even?
It is very loud.
In the middle of the night?
We are bakers. We bake in the early morning, very early.
I thought you were, like, a guard or a scientist, someone who's supposed to be here. By the way that you said you're not supposed to be here.
I am here for escape, retreat.
You had me thinking you were some kind of guard or something.
What would I be guarding?
I don't know.
And what about you?
What do you mean?
Why are you here?
I got separated.
There was a polar bear?
Yes.
So you have said.
It's lucky I found you. The door.
It is unlikely.
Yes. Lucky.
Yes. It is a far way to run here from town. If you would run in a slightly different direction, boom, into the sea, right off the island.
We were looking for the aurora.
Solar flares. They are changing.
Yes, I heard that.
We are losing their color.
Yes.
The sky is not the same.
No. It's changing everywhere, but the sky here, the stars here are spectacular. Where I'm from, I don't feel safe walking alone at night.
I don't understand.
I grew up in the suburbs, but I moved to the city after college, and it's after you get mugged once, you don't really want it to happen again. So,
Muggins?
held up, knife, gun. They take your purse, your money, your computer, whatever.
You felt safer here with the polar bears.
I did until I saw one. It was so majestic, but also it makes you feel so small, doesn't it? Its toes are bigger than my face. Its paws are just like... And they told me that if you see one, it must be hungry to get so close, so I just ran.
You are a scientist? Research?
Not really.
No, this is a no or yes?
I wish.
Wishes. Hopes? Wishes, dreams?
Yes and no. I teach. I taught kids science. I don't do real, unless it's dropping eggs off of buildings or something.
Eggs?
It's just something we did for fun. We did to get them excited enough to do math.
I see.
They would build their own nests and then drop eggs off the building and see whose would break and whose would stay intact. It's messy and it's silly, but they get excited about going on the roof.
You break a lot of eggs.
Yes, a lot.
This is too bad for the eggs, I think.
But anyway, no, I don't do real, I'm not a scientist.
Night.
What?
You double.
I do? I guess I do. I do.
I thought America doesn't believe in science.
Oh, is that what you think about America?
We don't have this kind of belief.
I'm pretty sure there are zealots everywhere.
Not like this, pretending there is no science. You have to march in the street to say science is real. This is like saying water is wet, ice is cold, the earth is round.
I don't want to get into a debate about how stupid people in America are. You don't have to convince me. I know.
So you come here to escape all the stupid people.
Sort of,
But
yes.
now you are stuck with a baker like me.
Are we stuck?
If you don't want to walk alone, yes.
Because you're waiting for Einar.
Who is late.
What's behind the door?
I'm not sure.
You were just back there.
I'm just a baker.
Baking is like a science,
It is
isn't it?
Art.
There's a lot of measuring, understanding heat, pressure, time.
Passed down from ancestors.
It takes a lot of precision and practice.
Culture.
I could never get my pie crust right. Something about the temperature of the butter.
You have a grandmother, grandfather. This is how to learn how to bake.
Yeah, that's not how my family is.
This is too bad, I think, for you.
Yep.
We have lived on this island for generations. We are the bakers.
That sounds amazing.
Well-
Really, I envy that, knowing your place in the world like that. I try to feel like, oh, I'm a citizen of everywhere. And then I come here and it's like everyone can just tell I'm from America from a mile away. And it's not a good association, you know. It's not something positive anymore, if it ever was. It's like you pity us.
Well-
Which I get. I get it. I pity us too. I just thought I was going to escape that.
Bryn begins to glow, almost shimmering.
The darkness of polar winter can bring you closer to oneself. Inside.
That's true. That must be true.
You don't like what you see inside.
Excuse me?
You are uncomfortable.
Well, I'm lost, and honestly, I'm not sure if I believe you.
Oh?
That you don't know what this place is. It's odd.
Odd.
I think you know exactly what I mean. You speak English really well. I think you know what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't believe you.
You haven't been lying to me?
Well, no,
No?
Okay, I exaggerated a little, maybe.
This
but
is very odd since you came here by accident.
it wasn't exactly an accident.
No?
I think you know that.
There's too much destruction.
Did you hear about the Philippines? Whole towns gone, devastated.
It was like this in Japan.
It was like this lots of places.
Too much famine, disease, crop death, no harvest, weak harvest, sick harvest. The food insecurity is worse than the war.
Yes, they don't report about the famines anymore. It's too depressing, but people still starve.
You cannot grow things here in the snow, in the dark. I cannot grow grains to make flour to bake bread. We must buy it from somewhere else. We learn to trade, to live. We must rely on other people, rely on trade, rely on the goodness in the hearts of the people. The people, there are good people everywhere, and you were not expecting this, were you? But we are a strong people, and we will not let you destroy this sacred place.
Bryn has a gun. It's a pretty big gun. She's crying. She aims the gun at Pamela. End of excerpt. We Are the Antarcticans by MJ Halberstadt. Directed by Noah Symes. In We Are the Antarcticans, a ragtag troupe of 6 staffers from McMurdo Station in Antarctica offer a breakneck pageant covering 100-plus years of milestones and mishaps in Antarctic history, including the first women to winter over, an existential pair of abandoned sled dogs, the most unheroic explorer of the heroic age, and plenty more Antarctic stories you never knew you cared about. Amidst convoluted metaphors and obscure trivia, the team's impetus eventually emerges to channel their passion for Antarctica into a call for shared stewardship of our planet. An empty space with boxes of props suggesting a hasty preparation for a play. The following is all told alongside a gruesomely poor ballet.
In the beginning, there was Pangea, all of the Earth's land in one giant mass. But then, tectonic shifts!
Tectonic shifts. And one continent, which would become Antarctica, floated to the south.
Human beings developed on the other continent, but never in Antarctica, which grew cold and uninhabitable.
But, as you know, there are plenty of people who worked very hard to come to Antarctica.
There is an especially difficult, resilient explorer sequence in the ballet. Oh, it's just so bad.
And today, we're going to talk about how and why people eventually made their way there.
We're so excited to tell you about the place where we work and research and hope that you'll appreciate it as much as we do.
Each of us, well, most of us, have collected our thoughts about why we went there. And we hope that hearing about it will in some way move you to take action. But first, let's begin with a human history of Antarctica.
Back in the year 1911, right in the middle of what is famously known as the heroic age of Antarctic exploration,
Famously?
the Englishmen Robert Falcon Scott and Ernest Shackleton and the Norwegian Roald Amundsen raced for the South Pole, which went something like this.
Scott!
Amundsen.
Shackleton.
South Pole.
And they're off! Shackleton's in the lead. He gets about 100 miles from the pole, but oh no! His men are sick and dying, and so rather than press on and certainly die, Shackleton's going to keep his perfect record for never losing a crew member.
Tapping you in.
Ooh, interesting. Shackleton's tapping Scott in, but he'd better hurry. Amundsen's got a few days on him.
Scott, what are you doing?
This is more than a race. It's a science expedition.
You're losing!
Afraid Shackleton's right. Amundsen's made it to the pole.
Thanks be to God, turning around quickly.
Smart move by Amundsen. This is a two-way race, and he's going to have to make it back alive if he's to claim absolute victory.
Penalty. He's not doing much science.
The judges will look into that later.
Scott reaches the pole 33 days after Amundsen gets there and is disappointed to find the Norwegian flag waiting for him. And this is a famous quote.
Great God! This is an awful place, and terrible enough for us to have labored to it without the reward of propriety.
Amundsen's very close, nearly back to his ship. Scott's gonna have to haul ass if he doesn't want to run out of supplies.
Scott trips and stumbles horrendously.
One by one, Scott's men and eventually Robert Falcon Scott himself died. Another famous quote, this time by crew member Lawrence Oates as he exited the team's tent.
I am just going outside. I may be some time.
Oates and Scott die.
The victory goes to Amundsen! Yay!
If only claiming the continent were as simple as who got there first.
A spoiler alert, it's not that simple.
Oh my God, that is not a line.
Take, for example, the absurd length people went to while jockeying for the position in the wedge of the continent that remains, to this day, shared by Argentina, Chile, and the UK.
Emilio Marcus Palma was born on January 7th, 1978 to Captain Jorge Emilio Palma and his wife Silvia Morella de Palma at Esperanza Base, an Argentine research station in Antarctica. He has the distinction of being the first person born on the continent, but as someone who represents an obscure footnote in an already obscure field of knowledge, that's all about you can find about him. Also, he did not accept my friend request on Facebook. And I don't blame him. But I do like to speculate about what led him to being born on Antarctica. Most likely, it was his father, the captain.
Look at all this.
I know. Look at all of it.
Wine, flowers, candles, a little too close together, but still.
She slides the flowers away from the candles.
What's this all about?
Oh, nothing. Can't I plan for us to have a romantic night together?
Mm-hmm.
I figured we'd enjoy a nice dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And get a little tipsy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll enact a plan that will assert South America's dominance on the Antarctic.
What was that last part?
And then we'll make love.
The thing I have a hard time imagining is how the subject came up. The decision to start a family is already cuckoo bananas, so I cannot even imagine what it was like knitting child rearing into international politics.
What's going on?
Sylvia, Jorge wanted to talk to you about something.
I imagine he had to broach it very delicately, very deliberately.
Should I be scared? Why do we have to see a therapist? Please tell me what's going on.
Go ahead, Jorge. Like we talked about.
Sylvia, I've been thinking about England and how they've been kind of cocky about colonizing half the world, and I think we should really do something about it.
The fuck are you talking about?
It's for the good of Argentina.
But of course, it could have been Sylvia's idea first. I imagine her plotting everything out over dinner.
Which was not the way I planned arranging the bake sale at all. You put the cookies and the cupcakes in the front and sliced cakes and breads in the back for the ladies to cut.
Oh, I see.
It just makes sense. You grab a cookie and go, but you wait for someone to cut a cake for you. If you reverse it and put the cookies in the back, then you're getting all the kids' sleeves in the cake. They start spreading frosting everywhere.
Interesting.
I just move things around. I was gonna wait for Donna to get the hints I was dropping. I think she was jealous because my cookies were selling much more than her banana bread. Donna always has to have the healthy option. She's such a snob. Not that banana bread is healthy anyway, especially with chocolate chips.
Right.
Anyway, it all worked out.
Well, good.
Oh, and another thing I wanted to talk to you about. I have an idea for baby Emilio. He's a boy, I forgot to tell you, and we'll name him Emilio. He'll attend Sunny Bear Academy for preschool. His color will be pine green. He'll be a dual citizen and become a dentist. Or an orthodontist. Maybe, if he really wants to, we can talk about it.
A dual citizen, Argentina and...
Antarctica. I have it all planned out.
The other thing is, we don't even necessarily know that they had this conversation before he left. Sylvia might have realized she was pregnant only after Jorge had left, in which case the conversation about the as-yet-born Emilio would have happened remotely.
I only have a few minutes on the line, so I'll have to be very quick. I want to talk to you about something.
What, us? Me and the baby are just fine, thanks.
Yeah, so about what you were telling me about last time we talked on the phone.
That I'm pregnant?
Right, yeah, just listen. We're gonna fly you down here to join us. Isn't that great?
Now?
It'll be fine. Consider the geopolitical implications.
I'm considering some implications, all right.
But phone calls from the ice are hard enough to execute these days, so I think it was more likely.
This will make him Antarctica's first citizen.
What's Morse for? Are you out of your goddamn mind?
No, it was probably a letter.
Sylvia. Dear Sylvia. Dearest Sylvia. Oh, God. Sylvia, my love. To my dearest wife, to whom I am most devoted.
But however it worked out, Sylvia was flown down to reunite with Jorge at Esperanza Base.
Sylvia enters, very pregnant and very pissed.
Hello.
Fancy seeing you here. Do you come here often? Are you busy tonight at last call?
That's enough. Where's the ladies' room?
What I do know is she eventually gave birth to a healthy baby boy. You know those parents who act like they just bought stock in Lysol wipes and they bundle their kid up like a burrito before they go to the supermarket in September, and how they cover everything in their houses with rubber? These two saw an unimaginable continent that thousands of people have died trying to get to and explore. Unprecedented and contentious disputes over land. A military-style research base with only enough medical facilities to take care of the most basic health-related needs of the most carefully screened and healthy people in Argentina, and said, "Sure, looks like a great place to bring a tiny, helpless creature into the world." I wonder if Antarctica feels more like home to Emilio than Argentina. I wonder if, when he visited, if it felt like he was going somewhere or returning somewhere. So I'm an Army brat, and my grandparents are from all over, and they're always trying to tell me about home, but each of them is talking about a different place I've spent next to no time in. They're like trying to force me into their nostalgia and act like I have a duty to it. I did get a kind of feeling when I landed in Antarctica for the first time. It wasn't a homecoming feeling, quite, but it was sort of a surrender. I can relax into Antarctica. It doesn't belong to anybody, except Emilio and the other 10 people who were born there. They can have it.
3 crosses to 2 and hands them an index card.
When it comes to your home, consider starting a new routine by composting food scraps. You'd be surprised how much what you throw out can re-enter and enrich soil and prevent methane emissions from landfills.
End of excerpt. Pay No Worship by Fran Da Silveira, directed by Tanisha Jones. A note, Daniel Washington will take the place of Jaquan Harris in today's performance. Present-day African West. Location, Cabo Verde, a group of 10 islands off the west coast of Africa. You probably don't know it. That's fine, really. Fogo. It's one giant volcano. Really. Setting. The very base of the volcano. The earth is a dark, rich brown, almost black. You can almost see the individual pebbles. Grapevines dot the soil with flecks of green. Characters. Jose, early 20s, Cape Verdean, light-skinned, lighter hair, light eyes. Has never left Fogo and doesn't really want to. Leans into ignorance but is not ignorant. Daydreams about the smell of grape leaves. Martine, mid-20s, Cape Verdean, dark-skinned, dark hair, dark eyes. Waiting for a visa to go to America. Went to university in Portugal and wants to keep studying. Daydreams about the smell of books. Act 1, Scene 2. Jose has fallen asleep with a basket on top of his head. Martine enters on the phone.
She's doing well. I went to see her yesterday afternoon. The doctor is saying that inflammation has gone down. Well, he didn't say that it was gone. No, just that it's gone down. It is good, yes, but... Papa, we can't take every improvement as her being healed. She's not walking out of the hospital tomorrow. Yes, okay. Okay. Have you heard anything from the immigration office? I passed by there earlier. They said they haven't received any fax. I mean, I'm sure you did, but can you send it again? Papa, it would be easier to just fax. Felipe doesn't come for another week, and that's too long to... It would be guaranteed, yes, but the fax is also... But the fax can... Papa, the fax... Okay. Send it with Felipe. I'll call tomorrow. Yes, I'll check on her.
He hangs up the phone and puts it in his pocket. Silence. He looks up, takes in a deep, deep breath.
You shouldn't say stuff like that.
What?
Jose takes the basket off of his head.
You shouldn't say stuff like that to him.
Stuff like what?
Stuff like what you would say.
What does that mean?
Of course you wouldn't hear it.
Hear what?
Hear what you would say.
I don't have time for this. Let's get back to work.
You can't be all rational to your dad. It's all realistic. It's depressing.
But the fax is the easiest way to
I'm talking about the stuff with your mom.
Oh.
The doctor said the inflammation's gone down. That's a good thing.
Yes, but...
But nothing. That's a good thing. When you talk to your dad, that's a good thing.
He hears that, and he's going to think that she's perfectly fine, that there was never a stroke, and she's leaving the hospital with a spring in her step to go back to cleaning and taking care of the crops.
Then let him think that.
I'm not lying to him.
Oh, no. Not you. Not Martin the merciful, except in this case, you're not being merciful.
I'm the one that's here. I'm the one going to the hospital. I'm the one talking to the doctor. I'm the one who came back to do those things. I left Portugal because
You left
I was...
Portugal because you couldn't find a job. Hey, I'm not the merciful one.
Yeah, you're the asshole one.
The inflammation's gone down. That's a good thing. Let him think it's a good thing.
Why?
Because why not? Why are you going to stress him?
Because I can't be the only one that's stressed on this fucking island.
Jose stands and goes to Martin. He puts his arm around his shoulders and points out in the distance.
See all that out there?
Oh, what?
All that.
Jose, what are you...
Do you see it?
See what?
The water. The water that surrounds us. The crystal clear blue water that surrounds us. It's there for you to jump into so you can swim away and leave this fucking island.
Martin shoves him off.
It is beautiful, though. I hate being all the way up here. We should go down this weekend to the beach.
I don't really have time for beach trips.
Of course you don't.
I need to make money.
You need to relax sometimes.
Jose sits.
Here.
Martin throws him a bottle of water. Jose catches it and actually drinks it.
Hey, you remember what you used to tell me?
I tell you a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I actually remember this one thing.
Miracle.
About the ice. What did you always used to call it?
Global warming?
Yeah, that.
I'm not the only one who calls it that. That's just what it's called. I mean, there are whole branches of science devoted to talking about this.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking about it the other day.
You were thinking about something other than women?
Would it make you feel better if I said it was while I was...
Ah, no. Please.
Because it was.
You know,
I was trying to spare you the
detail.
details.
Why were you thinking about it?
I don't know. It was just one of those moments, you know, when you're so close to the best pleasure you've ever had that you're suddenly gripped by this fear that it's all just going to get ripped from under you, around you. Urela and I were... Anyway, I remember glancing at the door at one point and just had this strong vision of it opening and water just pouring in, like flooding inside, taking up every corner, ruining everything, knocking us over and caressing us. I was looking at her as she floated. She was dead. Somehow, I wasn't killed on impact. Or maybe I was dead, and she was looking at me. But anyway, I didn't actually question where the water had come from. Like, I knew exactly what was happening the second the door opened and I saw the first drop. I was like, oh, that's what Martin was talking about. It happened. The ice melted and now Cape Verde doesn't exist anymore. It was kind of cool, actually. I felt like I was living in Atlantis, and if I was the only one alive, then that kind of made me like the king of Atlantis. I always knew I'd be king one day. All because of global heating.
Global warming.
Whatever.
He throws the empty bottle of water to the side.
You are. I can't. There aren't words for you.
Jose shrugs.
Usually people show their appreciation for me with sounds rather than words. Usually those people are women.
Martine flings a rock.
Ow! Not again, you bastard!
That's not how it works. Water won't just flood in and destroy everything. It's a slow process. The sea level is going to increase at such a slow rate that it's going to take hundreds of years before we see any difference, before there's any real danger. You're not going to experience any of it.
Well, the way you were describing it, it made it seem like we died tomorrow.
Well, we could.
So then we are in real danger.
We're in real danger of dying from rising sea levels the same way we're in danger of dying from the volcano erupting or from internal bleeding caused by a ruptured ulcer. Actually, that second one is possible for me because you stress me out and give me ulcers, and they could rupture and kill me.
The only thing that's in danger of rupturing are your bowels from lack of use.
Classy. Just real classy.
Martine grabs his basket and starts picking grapes.
Why are you working?
Because we're on the clock.
We're on a break.
We were on a break.
We were on a break? Get it?
No.
Come on. Friends?
No.
The American Show?
No.
Ross?
No.
Oh my God. You are such a Ross. And I'm a Joey. I am such a Joey.
I don't know what any of that means.
How do you not know Friends? I know we're living in a third world country with no running water or electricity, but how do you not know Friends? Your dad used to play season 3 for us every weekend night, remember? He had that tiny TV, and it was one of the VHS tapes he brought back from America the first time he left. That and like 4 Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. And that's what the boys usually wanted to watch because of the fighting and to learn English. But I was always telling them that if they really wanted to learn English and know what Americans were really like, they needed to watch Friends. I defended you, you know?
From what?
From the other boys. I actually do know you were never there to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme or Friends because you were always holed up in your room reading or studying. The boys would call you a nerd for doing your schoolwork on the weekends, but I'd always get in their face and tell them to shut the fuck up because that's my cousin and no one talks about my cousin like that. And also, he might be a nerd, but all that nerdy stuff he's into is going to get him into a good college. He's going to get off this island and get a fancy degree and go to America and become a scientist and discover a super huge freeze blasting gun that would freeze the melting ice so that Cape Verde wouldn't end up underwater. And they should be grateful. I'm a king. But you're a scientist. And you could save the world. And that makes you a superhero. That makes you more powerful than me. I'm okay with that.
Pause. Martine is stunned. Jose stands and goes to Martine, gets close. Is he going to hug him?
We were on a break!
Lights fade, end of excerpt.
Thank you so much to all four of those creative teams for those sneak peeks of all of those incredible plays. I'd like to invite our four playwrights up to the stage now, Fran, Nina, MJ, and Kevin, as well as Mark Cerez and our moderator, Robin Abrams, for a conversation and then a Q&A with all of you. Thank you.
Is my microphone working? All right.
We miscounted.
We need one more chair. I was told there would be no math. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to be up there?
No.
Okay.
I'm shy a mic somehow.
Yeah, we can share.
Do you have... Mark, do you not have a microphone?
I have one of these.
Oh.
We'll use
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I'll use this.
And there's an extra mic back there. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you all very much for coming, and major thanks to all of the playwrights here. I just want to go through and identify everybody since we saw 4 separate plays. Kevin, yours was the first. Can everybody just go through and introduce themselves and say which one they're?
So I'm Kevin Mullins, and my play was The Aftermath of Chaos.
Okay, that was the first one.
I'm Nina Louise Morrison. Oh, go ahead.
Dang! It's the race to the Antarctic with MJ.
My name is MJ Halberstadt. I wrote We Are the Antarcticans.
I'm Nina Louise Morrison, and I wrote The Vault.
I'm Francisca Da Silveira, and I wrote Pay No Worship.
Which was the last one that we just saw. Great. And this is...
Mark Cerez.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm the
Whose book
climate
is-
dude.
Yes, whose book is on sale. So what we're going to do is discuss amongst ourselves for about 15 minutes and then open it up to questions from the audience. I really love the diversity and variety of moods and topics and where and when all of the plays were set. Could everybody just sort of go through briefly all of the playwrights and say, just kind of what was the biggest challenge for you in writing about this topic, or what was the image that grabbed you? What was your way in with each of these?
I guess I'll start.
Whoever would like to start first, as long as MJ gets a chance to talk.
God, well, I'll say, well, like, for me, oh my God, I must have, and Betsy, the my director will know, like, I changed the play changed like 4 or 5 times, like just like throughout the process. But like for me in particular, like I was sort of drawn to like the idea of like, so what happens if we don't change things, and what particularly the climate justice movement, like what will happen if sort of, like sit-ins and demonstrations don't work, you know, and so like what road will we take? And then also like if sea levels rise and if hurricanes happen and we have to sort of depopulate, places on the East Coast, like what would that look like? And then what sort of tensions would that create?
So it was really just an exercise in major world building.
Yes.
For you. And then as I understand, it takes place in 2 different time periods in 2031 and then 2048.
Yeah.
Just a game I'm addicted to on my phone. Incidentally.
Right.
And can I ask, one thing that struck me about yours also is that it begins with a police procedural, that the first 2 scenes, as different as the topic is, there's so much information to take in, but you begin with 2 really archetypal scenes of, a police procedural interrogation and then a kind of family reunion. Why didn't he invite me to the wedding? Misconduct would get so many questions about that. And no, you can't just bring someone to the wedding. Good grief, even if they should have been invited. But was it to what extent was it deliberate to start off in such familiar terrain?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I wanted to sort of try to set up, and again, this is like through the multiple drafts. It was like, okay, how do you sort of establish the fact that you have some concept of the parents' case? And because really the majority of the play is about the children and sort of being the children of these famous, climate radicals who were executed. And so, how do you sort of make it so that you sort of have a pretty decent grasp of what's going on by the time you really get to sort of like the first or second scene? So.
Okay.
But no, there's a lot of world building.
Oh yeah, tremendously. And yours is going to be the first one to be read.
Actually, no.
It's not.
Nina's will be the first one.
Oh, okay. So when is yours?
So mine will be on Sunday, May 13th.
Sunday, May 13th at the Democracy Center in Harvard Square. Great.
At 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Lindsay. At 7 o'clock. Yes. And the full readings are also free. Am I correct?
Yep.
Excellent. Yes, these will all be great. Who else would like to talk about sort of how their play got born?
Well, so I'm from Antarctica. I'm from Long Island. I fell in love with Antarctica watching a documentary that's on Netflix. Actually, it's not on Netflix anymore.
The ultimate Netflix and chill.
Well done. Well done.
Sorry, not sorry.
And I fell down a bizarre little rabbit hole of just getting my hands on everything Antarctic that I could. I was just really interested in it. I'm really glad that you're on stage as I'm answering this question because Robin and I were having a conversation about Antarctica, and we were talking about my interest, and at one point I was considering applying for a postgraduate certificate in Antarctic studies in New Zealand, and I was like, why would I ever do that? Like, who gets a BA in theater ed, an MFA in playwriting, and then a postgrad in Antarctic studies? And Robin said, I think that's a great idea, because then in the world of Antarctic studies, you are the playwright, and in the world of playwriting, you are the Antarctic guy. And I thought that made so much sense, and so I've just allowed myself to keep asking myself what it is about Antarctica that is so important to me, and this play is basically a repository for all the anecdotes that I find so charming and weird. One of my favorite moments in the rehearsal process that we've had, which I should describe briefly, each of us have been meeting with directors, dramaturgs, and actors on a regular basis to bring pages and hear new pages aloud and try new things. And I'm really fortunate in that the director I'm paired with, Noah Symes, we share half a brain. And he knows how to ask really, really great questions. And at one point, I think he asked me, like, what's something about Antarctica that you're really excited about? And I shared a whole anecdote about a French climatologist who put some ice like an ice shaving from an ice core in some whiskey, and then he watched as the bubbles came out, and then he said, "Oh my gosh, wait, the air in these ice, in like the bubbles in the ice are thousands of years old, and we can like glean so much about climate, about carbon dioxide and the gas levels at those different points." And then Noah turned to me and was like, "That should just be a monologue in the play," and the whole play is just a little collage of me being a nerd.
But you sort of, I mean, I think like I said, one of the interesting things is just dealing with the amount of information dump, and you are clearly just embracing that.
Oh, yeah.
And going with it.
I feel like I'm getting away with something anytime I get to research. Plus, Dan, who was the dramaturg that I got partnered with, he's a wealth of knowledge, and he, like, for fun, will do, like, line counts for how many lines each character has so that it feels balanced. This whole process has been, I feel so spoiled.
And there is something, we'll get to this too, I hope, a little bit, the science, the scientific process and the artistic process, particularly the theatrical process, which is so collaborative, have a lot of things in common, constantly reiterating, trying to, get it better next time, come closer to the truth that you're trying to grasp, the necessity of teamwork, and so on. What about you?
That's so interesting that you're seeing the similarities, because I think about them as being like polar opposites.
As it were.
Right. I've been thinking a lot about how I'm taking so much artistic license with what can happen at the Global Seed Bank. I don't think you can just walk there, for example.
One cannot simply walk.
Right. Yeah, you can't just stumble upon it. So, as an artist, it makes me feel like I'm in awe of scientists who get to work with much more concrete things, I feel like. But you're right. There are a lot of similarities, too. I heard a podcast about the Global Seed Bank. I'd been working for a few weeks, maybe months, on this idea that Kevin had given us, which was just write about climate change, which was such a huge potential topic.
That was as much of a mission as all of you got.
Yeah.
Write about climate change.
Right,
Okay,
and
broad.
so we could write about whatever we wanted, but we could write about whatever we wanted, which was a little scary. So, I heard about the Global Seed Bank, and I don't know, it just lit a spark, and I had recently had a child, so I was thinking a lot about motherhood and thinking about Mother Earth and seeds, and I don't know. And this paradox that, having a child is hope, but then also it's one of the worst things you can do for the climate. Among a couple, there's a handful of terrible things you can do, right? That's one of them, like taking an airplane. I can't think of the others. Anybody know?
Flying to have a child in Antarctica. Is
Right. That would be the worst.
Very bad for the environment.
But it's been really fun to wrestle with this, and try to think about what's the message. And I don't know, my play just has been revised and revised, like Kevin has been saying. So on Tuesday, I think I decided it's about hope. Ultimately.
That's the title for your next play. On Tuesday, it was about hope. And yes, Nina.
So this play has come to me in many different pieces. I knew that I wanted to write a play set at the base of this volcano, which is where, on the island that I'm actually from. In 2014, right after I graduated and had absolutely no idea what I was doing with myself, I went and visited my parents, who have been living back home in Cape Verde for about a month. And we went to visit this little town, which is at the base of this volcano, where there was just lots of grape leaves and grape plants, because there was a vineyard there, and I was just fascinated. I was like, how do grapes grow in a volcano? And how is there a thriving wine business happening here? And then about a year later, the volcano erupted. and destroyed the vineyard, and a lot of the people that lived at the base of this volcano were displaced. And I was just fascinated by that idea. And then a few months ago, after Hurricane Maria happened, I was on the phone with my dad, and conversations with my dad are usually, how are you? How are you feeling? How are your knees? How's your back? How are the crops? And then just like that on repeat for about 4 minutes until one of us decides it's time to hang up the phone. But this particular conversation, talking about the Hurricane Maria and him going on about how he heard a radio newscast about some storm that was coming, and we were literally on the phone for 15 minutes talking about like natural disasters and like what would happen. And I left that conversation like in awe that we were having this kind of conversation, and also be frightened as all hell about what would happen to my parents and to my family that was still in Cape Verde if something were to happen. Because unlike Puerto Rico, we are not under the U.S. control. And so I was just like, who's going to help them? I'm going to have to like fly there and bring them back or like do something. All worries that like I don't necessarily have to have, and that have sort of poured themselves into this play. Yeah.
That is great. I mean, one thing that I see with all of the plays is the way everyone is writing these scenarios where sort of environmental breakdown leads to people relating in some new and more human and more immediate kind of way. Kind of like how Bostonians actually make eye contact and smile the first day of a bad snowstorm. And then like after that we don't anymore, but it's like, oh yeah, we're all out there in it, man, for that first day. We're seeing a lot of that. I think that's what made so many of these plays a good deal less didactic and more human and so much funnier than maybe many people were expecting. Now, we also have Mark here, who is a writer and wrote a book, and I would just like to moderate, if any of you have questions for Mark or he for any of the playwrights, and I'll help you remember who wrote which play. Because I know these folks and you don't. So who would like...
Yeah.
Mark, my question for you. I hear that there's sometimes a frustration in the science community that scientists are expected to find the knowledge and then distribute the knowledge, and that many scientists find that pressure exhausting and frustrating. I wonder if that's your experience or if that's what you find.
I think that they find it frustrating, but I see a world that's quickly changing. In that I think very much in the science community that it is understood that you should be doing more than just doing your research and writing papers and things like that. We have to communicate and get the word out what's happening. Now that can be frustrating too, because there are those on this world who do not want to hear what is happening, right? But increasingly we are, I think, in that position and accept that challenge, I think, to be communicators. And the real challenge is how you can communicate this. And there's parallels here, I think, in terms of where you're coming from and how we do this communication. When you're communicating, it's almost like in a sense, it's almost like a musical composition, right? That in a musical composition, like I write a little music myself, where you're looking for a nice chord progression, and you have a theme, and you have a verse, and you have a chorus you keep coming back to. And if you're going to be effective in communicating, you almost have to think in that way sometimes. You can't just throw out words there. You have to have a plan.
One of the things that I liked about your play, Nina, and you also have Heritage Hill Naturals.
Oh, I'm Fran.
I'm sorry, but you're the one I was thinking of, though, because you did Pay No Worship. Yes, okay. So one of the things I was thinking of, Fran, with Pay No Worship was that, how interesting it was to have a character who didn't quite get it. in your play, and the difficulties of the one character trying to come up with metaphors, with stories that would work for his friend to understand this. Because Mark and I were talking before this about how the human brain, we don't deal well with large, vague, big, multifactorial risks and things like that. We don't think about those things very well as a species. So then how do we tell stories about them? And I thought it was delightful that yours came out with that quite directly.
Yeah, communication is very difficult for these two.
Yes.
And I think
hilarious for the rest of us.
Right. And I think it is a question of when you have someone who's more of an expert or who's more informed, how do you communicate in a way that the other person will understand and also not be too frightened, because that's like one opposite where he's like, oh my God, we're gonna die tomorrow, or the way you're talking about it, we're gonna die tomorrow, but still instill that that level of immediacy, that this is something that we need to act on right now.
And he hooks into the story structures that his friend already has about superheroes and so forth. Like I was saying about yours, where all the information is new, but you're hooking into these scenarios that we're familiar with. It's like, oh, it's a family reunion. Oh, it's a police procedural. We know how that goes. So we can absorb the new information. Can everyone just give the dates of their readings again really quick, and then we'll open it up for the audience? Sure. So
Mine
are
is on
Aftermath of Chaos.
Chaos, and that's on Sunday, May 13th at 7 p.m.
We Are the Antarcticans, Sunday, May 20th at 7 p.m.
The Vault will happen this Sunday, May 6th at 7 p.m.
And Pay No Worship, which is on June 3rd at 7.
Okay. Yes. All at the Democracy Center and all free. And you do have, even if I got your name wrong, I got your Playwright, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Heritage Hill Naturals you also have, which is coming.
Yes, it opens on May 11th and runs until the 26th at the Calderwood.
It's all about green living.
Yes, it is.
Great. Let's open it up to some questions to the audience for any of our playwrights here, or for Mark. Art, science, surely you have questions.
First question on your right.
Fran, how did you bring Cape Verde home? Because that sounded like a conversation between brothers, between cousins, between like best friends. It felt very familiar.
It is very familiar. I was born there. And I was born on this particular island that the play is set in. So I grew up in America, but my parents have lived back there for about 8 years. So hearing from them what's going on now, which is pretty much a mass exodus. Very many people are immigrating to the U.S., and one day I really believe that my parents will be the only ones who live there, which they would be thrilled about, to be honest. But these two characters are very familiar. They're my brothers. They're my cousins. They're people that I love and who I think about when thinking about all of the terrible things that could happen. I hate phrasing it that way, but it's the realist way to say it.
Next question right here in the middle.
So all the plays had sort of scary future, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? The moment that terrified me the most was in your play, Nina, when they were having the conversation about, in America, they don't even get that science is real. Because that's so true. Yeah. You've got the CDC being told not to use the phrase evidence-based. Yeah. When you're writing a play like this, how is it hard not to get discouraged? With all this stuff going on, yeah. How do you convince yourself that it's not too late?
Yeah, it's kind of like we just lived through this really long winter, didn't we? Right? Like, I think that's probably why I didn't get to the hope until this week. Wasn't able to quite access that idea of hope completely. But yeah, a lot of the play was informed by struggling with, the power structures right now, and trying to imagine if that sort of continues in that way, where we might end up, but also thinking about how we can sort of subtly, or not so subtly, maybe, revolutionize that. Keep working to save the things that are important to save, and keep doing. I mean, the thing that gives me hope, I guess, is science and scientists. The seed bank, I think, is why I landed on that, is because it is this place of hope. It's like some people call it the doomsday vault. It's there to house the backup of all our world seeds. So there's all these seed banks all over the world, but they're often in really dangerous places or places that are more fragile. So they send their seeds to the bank, to like a library of seeds, so that we can save all the gene diversity and keep our crops resistant, and not become extinct ourselves. So that's a dark thing, but it's also a really hopeful thing. And it's all these scientists from all over the world working together, like good people, working diligently, slowly, patiently together to do the good, right thing. And that's still going on right now, like despite all the things that make us really upset about, how things are being run and being, not able to be said or even spoken about sometimes. So, whether there are people who don't believe in it or not, like those of us that do, will just keep working, hopefully.
Next question is also in the center section.
Hi, this is a question for MJ. It's kind of like a two-part question, not really related, but so the first
I'm ready.
one, the flashcard moment where like he hands her the flashcard and she reads the fun fact. I was wondering if that was just like a one-time thing or a recurring moment, and if it is recurring, is it?
It recurs with some variation.
Okay, yeah. So I was just wondering what the thought behind that was, and then the second question is, like, whether you think that like a love for nature or a love of beautiful places is enough to inspire people to fight climate change and be aware of environmental issues.
So to both of your questions, I recommend seeing the full reading. But the index card is a relatively new addition, unsurprisingly, a suggestion of one Noah Symes, because finding the call to action within the play itself always felt a little clunky, and I tried to find ways for each of these. So the structure of the play is ultimately, spoiler alert, each of them presents an anecdote, and I tried to knit in a call to action from that anecdote, and it always felt clunky, and so I decided just like make it clunky, put it on an index card, and that is sort of the impetus as this cast of actors has devised in order to tie them together.
Kind of gets with what Mark was saying about it's almost like composing something, it's like this is a chorus that kind of keeps repeating.
And I guess to follow that metaphor, my composition has a like glockenspiel in the middle. Like, what? Oh, that instrument? Okay, sure. And if nothing else, then it feels surprising. And oh yeah, composting. To your second question, I do not think that caring about beauty is enough to get people to care. I think for the most part, hitting people in power in the wallet is unfortunately probably the most effective tool available. And a thing that I keep in mind as I've been constructing these characters is that, one of them is extremely angry and couldn't care about this play, and they're there because they're so angry about climate change, and that's the one thing tethering them to continuing to tell this story. And then I have another character who's extremely motivated by social justice, and another who has to face their fears, and so on and so forth. But I do think that it has to be an ensemble of pressures in order to motivate people. Like I sometimes wonder what would happen if the world were able to frame sustainability as a contest and say, I don't think you could win, President Trump. And then suddenly he's like, well, I totally can win. And like, imagine if you just charged the fight for combating climate change in a different way, other than the touchy-feely stuff that I think all of us can agree on.
And one more question.
This will be the last question right here.
So I think I understand correctly that you all were paired with a climate scientist? No. Okay. Well, I was curious. I was curious about the collaboration, if you had any with people who are coming at this issue from a different perspective.
Well, I know that MJ, you worked with a climate scientist who shares your last name.
Yeah. And that's how I discovered her, because Halberstadt is not a terribly common name. She's a PhD in glaciology at UMass Amherst, and I emailed her, and fortunately she and I are cut from the same cloth. We're both big nerds and really excited to talk about Antarctica. So I drove out and got brunch with her, and I text with her anytime I have any weird question about ice, which I do often. And I think it's super important for these conversations to take on a human quality, and my hope, my prayer, is for scientists and artists to see one another as humans that you can text at 11 at night with a weird theoretical question. One thing that constantly surprises me about actors, about scientists, is their generosity. If you demonstrate that you give a care about what they're doing, they show up and are honored that you care about their work and want to participate in it. I want to see years and years of climate change plays presented by all sorts of companies.
Well, this has been a great advertisement for them, I think, and I look forward to seeing the full versions of everything. And thank you all very much.
Thank you to all of our participants tonight, our actors, our directors, our playwrights, Mark, Robin. Thank all of you for spending your Friday night with us. Mark will be signing copies of his book right behind this curtain, and the creative teams will all be around to continue chatting with you, so thank you. Have a great night.